Hi, and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges in the building, and Smarty Mighty is back. Big up yourselves. The name sticks. You know it goes already, Mighty, right?
I know,
the name ends up sticking. Now, guys, I don't know if you remember.
You cut me right up with that, Lee.
I don't know if you remember, we had our best travel experience for a long time with Kenya Airways earlier in the year.
So you tell me, like.
I know. I knew he was going to say that, right? Because he didn't go on it. It was back in May, actually. But it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Kenya Airways. And now you guys have got the opportunity to experience the African hospitality as well, including you, Mr. Judges. They are now flying from London Gatwick 3 times a week. They've got 3 weekly flights on a Monday, Thursday, and a Saturday. This is in addition to the daily flights that they have leaving from Heathrow, which means more flexibility for you if you want to fly out, all right? Whether you prefer the morning or the evening flight, KQ has you covered. You good with that?
I think that's fantastic. You're doing this better than what I've done it. Like,
And here's the best part, Mr. Judges, right? And for all of you guys out there, right? And for all AFTV fans, they're offering 15% off all of their flights to and from Gatwick or Heathrow to any KQ destinations. All you got to do is use the code AFTV25 when you are booking your return ticket to travel between now and November the 30th, right? So it's now and November the 30th. This discount expires at the end of the month. So click the link in the description right now and book your adventure with Kenya Airways right now. And Kenya, by the way, beautiful country. Went to Nairobi. They had a safari in the middle of the city. The only city in the world that has a safari.
Wow. Shame they didn't leave you with the lions.
Let's get booking them flights, Lee. Let's go.
Well, I didn't get invited.
Well, I'm giving you 15% off.
Well, yeah.
There you go. Code
Get booking, man.
25.
Yeah.
Let's get in there.
Fantastic, yeah. I'm up for that. Like, I'd like to go to Kenya.
Fancy that, a little safari?
Do you know what? It's on one of the bucket bucket lists to do this safari. Like,
Safari.
That's one of,
You know what?
When you see that, I'm not the jealous type. You know what I mean? But I was jealous, and I was hoping one of the lions would come and beat him up with Al Jackson. But other than that, like, I weren't bit. Go on, Fred the Lion, go on. And he didn't do it, like, you know what I mean? So.
Oh boy! Well, listen. Let's start off. Let's start off with the news that we heard just before we did the show, and we got a video that's out regarding this. If you haven't checked it, it's of course Willem Saliba on the verge of signing a brand new contract with Arsenal. Good news.
Fantastic news. Fantastic news. Like, you know, one of the reasons is it you know, like, there's a little bit of thing out when you sign a new contract, but what it does, it means that if he was to leave, it's never going to be on a cheap. So he feels that. But I genuinely feel he loves Arsenal. He's always given me that vibe that he does. He's a cool dude as well. Like, do you know what I mean? When you actually meet him, and that, he's a cool dude. And you know, we was talking earlier, we could have brushed that thing off with Curtis, but he didn't. He said, "Yeah, you know, I hope to sign." You know, what I mean?
When Curtis asked him,
he could have just said, "I can't say nothing" or whatever. Like, you know, the press went mad about it that day. Like, you know, I mean, it was a bit. But he loves Arsenal, so I think it's fantastic news.
Is that the best partnership around at the moment? Saliba and Gabriel, do you think, or what other ones we got? We got Konate, Van Dijk. Obviously, that's a great partnership.
Look, I mean, to even be mentioned in the same breath as Van Dijk, who's a Premier League legend. You know, William Saliba often gets compared to Van Dijk, and I think that in itself is a huge statement. And look, it's a fantastic partnership. It is. You know, when they're both fully fit, they've both signed as well. Don't forget, Big Gabby signed in the summer. Andrea Berta's doing his thing. He's locking down players, getting these contracts done, not only bringing in a load of talent, he's also, you know, locking down existing talent, which is hugely important. They're a fantastic partnership, and it gives us stability as a team all the way through the team, and, you know, certainly from the back. William Saliba is a fantastic player. He's, you know, no doubt in years to come will go down as one of the best in the world, and, you know, no doubt, especially if Arsenal start winning silverware, he has the ability to go down as a legend at Arsenal. You know, that's what it is. He's, you know, where he's at in his career, you know, they go on and they do the business over the years. You know, that's what statues are made of.
Yep. Well, listen, let's get into the game, the Carabao Cup game, first of all. We know that Arsenal are through to the next round in the Carabao Cup where they're going to play Brighton. We'll touch on our chances against that soon. But it was a 2-0 win away at Port Vale. A lot of changes made by Arsenal. I think it was 9 changes that Arsenal made to their starting lineup after the game on Saturday. But let me just read you out the team that played, just to emphasise the strength in depth. And especially when you take into account that Arsenal do have some injuries still to Odegaard. Nkapia, the new signing, was injured, so he didn't play. You know, obviously Jesus, Havertz,
Madueke now as well.
Madueke. All of those players missing, remember, but they could still field a team of Kepa, Ben White, Saliba, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, Norgard, Eze, Saka, Marino, and Gabriel Martinelli. That is a strong team, you know, especially when you would have considered like years ago, that would have been a team probably full of kids. Even last year, you'd have seen like a lot of kids, probably even on the bench and that, you know. So very, very strong lineup, and the bench was very strong as well. And they run out 2-0 winners. But Lee, I saw your fan cam. I wasn't actually at the game. I had that YouTube event yesterday.
Well done.
So, but you went to the game. Oh, I wanted to go to Port Vale. I've never been there before, right? But you went to the game. But I saw your fan cam, which was simply entitled, "I'm bored." Talk to us.
Listen, I've got to be really honest, you know. And I'm not moaning about this. It was boring.
I'm bored. No, he's moaning. I'm bored.
It was a boring game. It wasn't spectacular. But at the end of the day, it's winning football. You know what I mean? And I think we're going to have to get used to this under Mikel. Like, you know, it's the way he's going to play. At the end of the day, I enjoy winning more than I do like being bored. You know what I mean? If I'm bored, and at the end of it, if I'm bored, but we won, so you can take that and move on from it. It's when you don't win, then you know it's a bit of a little problem. But I enjoy winning more than anything.
What was boring about it? What in particular made you like?
Very, very lacklustre, very slow. Listen, not only that, I'm not going to say it was easy. They never really caused you any sort of problems. It wasn't like high intensity game. I don't know if you felt that. I felt that we was in total control from the first minute to the last.
Yeah, they didn't have a shot on target.
Yeah, it wasn't like you know. And I just felt that sometimes you know, as a fan, you want to have excitement. Of exciting play and everything like that. Eze, for instance, I think is an exciting player. I watched him at Crystal Palace, and he excites me as a player, what he does and whatever. Like, you know, like for instance, Jack Grealish. Whenever I watch Jack Grealish, he always excites me because he's doing. But when Eze got the ball yesterday, it was safe. Get the ball, hold first touch, good first touch, play it out wide, play side to side, side to side, side to side. Not a lot of being vengeful a little bit more, like, you know. But at the end of the day,
scored.
We got the goal early. The other thing is,
Eze scored that goal.
Yeah, he did score. Very good.
And
goal.
He had another shot after that.
Did he? Oh, that was great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're League One opposition. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, like, just because you're singling him out. You know?
No, I'm not singling him out. I'm just saying,
scored it. And he had another shot after that. It was a great shot. And good save by the keeper.
Very good save, like, you know what I mean? It was down the other end, and the lights weren't great. You know what I mean? So, but what I think about it is, like, you have to look at it at the whole picture, right? We just played Man City. We've got Newcastle next week. You don't really want to go there and have a fiery game. I get, so like, it was always going to probably be a little bit like that. But I looked at it and I thought, right, there's a few players out there that maybe not going to play against Newcastle. So like, let them be exciting and all that. But they weren't. You know, I look at it and I think, right. When I looked at that lineup, I'm thinking, right, Martinelli, right, go and show what you can do as a you know. Saka, I'll get some minutes under. They never went past their fullbacks or beat them. And not great, it weren't great. And then when they're putting the crosses in, there's no one in there. Oh, Marino's chugging away trying to get up there, like, you know what I mean? Good old chugger. It just wasn't, great, and it just, that's it. Like, but I get it. I get it. Like, I'm sitting there like last night coming home and you're thinking, look, what? I tell you what, he's not here now, so I'll say it. Big Kelechi. Right, you know what I mean? Big hands Kelechi, right? He don't say a lot of brilliant things, you know what I mean, or sensible things in my opinion. But he said something yesterday, and I had to, shake his hand. Like, what? My hand's still hurting. But anyway, he turned around and said, like, blah 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 blah. We could have played a performance like Manchester United did, and you go out.
Yeah.
And so, what's the most important thing? Like, not playing great and getting through, or playing really well and going out. So I get that, you know what I mean? It was like a valid point, you know what I mean? Like, we'd gone there, it was, no one's really been stretched. It was a training session on a Wednesday night. You get the results, so you have to look at it and go like, there's going to be bigger and harder games along the line, and so I get it. But as far as entertainment concerned, you know what I mean, it weren't the greatest of games.
Were you not entertained, Marty?
Well, it's good to have the villain from the Vale back in the building after his cold night in Stoke.
Oh yeah, and it was cold. I don't think he realised how cold it was up there. Like, they had no hat.
Yeah. Oh, did you have no hat?
No.
Oh.
I did a schoolboy error, like, you know what I mean? Luckily, I brought me, like, and it was at the last minute, because when we left, it's a little bit like it is now, sun shining. But at the last minute, I thought, you never, like, the night before, it was a little bit chilly. I thought, I'll just take me body warmer, just in case. Luckily I did. Luckily I did.
Yeah, look, do you know what? It's about getting result. After the first 10, 15 minutes, you kind of think, we could be in for a nice 4, 5, 6-0 here. But the game just didn't end up like that. It's great for Eze to get his first Arsenal goal, really well taken goal. And I just love how, Lewis Skelly, and they just knocked the ball across. Great finish, just easy, passes it into the back of the net. Simple. And, Trossard to come on and do what Trossard does. I love that. You can rely on this guy to just be a match winner. And you need players like that. Like Robbie, like you said, Robbie, I think that side that we put out in the first half, that was probably better than some of the complete first team selections we've had over the years. And that's our depth of our squad, the players like Norgard. I don't think it was ever meant to be sort of champagne football. It's a cold night in Stoke, and it's about getting the job done. It's about getting through to the next round, not picking up any injuries. And yeah, listen, there's a huge game on Sunday to Newcastle. You've got to have an eye on that, and obviously
not if you're Laurie. Not if you're Laurie, though. The arguments we were having on
that was epic.
The other side of it is, and I totally agree with everything you're saying there, but there are, there is a good side.
Yeah.
And like, you think to yourself, right, you go 1-0 up. Why are we not destroying teams like we used to a couple of years ago? One thing, you can turn around and say there is a lot of changes, so maybe that's why it wasn't. But in Arsenal's defence, and I want to try and be as positive as you can. Like, I looked at other results yesterday, you know what I mean? Like Tottenham, for instance, at home to Doncaster, 3-0, but you'd expect 5-6. Didn't happen. City went to Huddersfield 2-0. It wasn't really any big mullerings.
Yeah.
So
I think Newcastle 4-1.
Newcastle 4-1, but at home. But so I think that maybe teams think, this is a chance to rest players and dare I say it, play with the handbrake on, play with a bit of caution, don't do nothing silly. It's about getting minutes. Like, for instance, Ben White is to get minutes under his belt, Saka to get certain. Like, for instance, that game that you ain't playing a Premier League game and going, right, after 65 minutes, I'm taking you off and all that. But they did yesterday. So there's circumstances why it happened.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was watching the game. Obviously, I watched it here in the studio in the watch along. It was great. It was a great watch along, actually, right? But when the game first started, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to really, see a lot of goals there, and I was kind of like regretting not being in Port Vale, I was like, I wish I was there, man. But as that game went on, a couple of times when they showed the crowd, right, and I could see it was cold as well, right? You could see with people had hoods up and things like that. I was thinking, you know what? I swerved one tonight, man, because I was like, it was a boring game. You are right, Lee. Like, and there were players in there just kind of coasting through that game. Yeah. And like you said, I get it. There was one time like Martinelli, right? He's running through on the keeper, I think it was.
Yeah,
and
he pulled out.
He pulled out. He only pulled out of that because it's that game.
Yeah.
I said it on the watch along. If that's a Saturday, he's going right through to try and win that ball. But he kind of pulled out of it. There was another time I saw Saka kind of pulled. Then Saka got that big tackle on him. You know, probably a lot of players there thinking, I don't want to get injured ahead of the game on Saturday. So they were playing a bit within themselves. And so, but then the thing is, when you're playing in those games and it's still only 1-0, it's dangerous when you're playing those teams because all they got to do is get one back. It's 1-1. It goes to penalties, like what happened. That's why Grimsby beat Man United. It was on penalties. They get into penalties, right? And then all of a sudden, you got a big problem. So that second goal by Trossard was a big goal because it was once that went in, the game's done. It finished. Like,
a lot of Arsenal fans.
They should have probably done that game. They should probably have finished that game off earlier, and I think they probably would have done if they had really gone for it. But they were kind of playing really within themselves. But listen, we got the job done. We're through to the next round. Brighton in the next round. We were looking at because we did the draw here, and we were sort of saying to ourselves, well, listen, there's a lot of Premier League teams left in it. When you looked at the way it gone, there hadn't really been any giant killing at all. There's going to be a load of Premier League teams in it. If we do get one, we want them at home. So at least we've got Brighton at home. It won't be easy.
Well, what did you feel like? Did you feel a little bit of disappointment because we was the first ones out? So everybody's
first ones
in
out.
I
wanted like Grimsby at home. As we were saying it, I wanted Grimsby at home. What did you say you wanted? Wrexham.
Wrexham. Do you know what? I think it would have been a great tie. The spectacle of it all. Wrexham. Obviously we know the story with
when
Wrexham,
you got Brighton is sort of like, God. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a difficult one.
Disrespect. It's a difficult one
but
you're at home, right? I think you always have a bit of an advantage when you're a Premier League team playing another Premier League team at home because that other Premier League team's probably then starting to look at it and think, we got a game at the weekend, probably will rest a few more than, you know what I mean? You have a bit more of a luxury when you're at home, definitely in competitions like this. But, and the weird thing about this tournament is because to me, if I'm a Brighton fan, I'm expecting... I don't understand why teams like Brighton. I saw it with Everton the other night.
I can't believe it.
Everton rested Everton should be going to try and win that.
Yeah.
Right, because you're not going to win. They're not in the Champions League. They're not in the Europa League. They're not in the Conference League. They've only got the league, which, let's be real, for Everton, it's just about, not survival per se, but just mid-table, try and see how well we can do. And then go for the other cups. I don't know why do teams like Everton rest loads of players? I mean, and Brighton will probably they come to the Emirates. They'll probably rest players.
I can't understand it. I actually watched the Wolves Everton game. I got a little soft spot for Everton for obvious reasons. So I actually thought, right, come on, support Everton here, you know what I mean, and watch this game. And they've left all their big guns out. And I'm baffled why you ain't got a midweek game for another few months. Why are you doing that? I don't understand why they do it. So when that draw comes out, I always look at it and think, right, if you're going to get a home draw and you're going to get a Premier League game, be one of the teams that's in Europe. So I'm looking at it and going, right, I don't mind getting Newcastle, I don't mind getting Tottenham, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, I know they're out, but someone like that, because at the end of the day, they'll look at it and go, we've got rest players as well, and our squad is stronger than most. So but when you play a team like Brighton now, they could actually go, do you know what?
Let's go full strength.
Yeah, we're going to go full strength in this. They don't seem to do it.
It's really strange because to me, they should go full strength.
Yeah. But then do you not think that that Brighton in this round will go full strength? No, because this is an opportunity, like you said about Everton,
I don't think they
for
will.
Brighton to win this competition.
Yeah. The only time you'll see teams like that go strong will be later. If they get further down, quarterfinals, semi-finals, they'll go strong. But fourth round, I don't think they are going to go strong.
I think Brighton... I think that's a good shout. Brighton,
but in years gone by, I've seen teams like Brighton, they ain't gone strong in it. And then teams, if you actually look at it last year, there was 2 teams that went really strong in that competition, right? Newcastle, because they obviously targeted to win it and did go on to win it. I think Palace went quite strong in it for a lot of it as well and went quite deep down. I mean, for teams like that, they should be going for that. I hope they don't go for it, but I think Brighton have got a big squad though, and they've got a good squad. So, but
I suppose like you have to look at if you're a manager of a Brighton or an Everton and all that, you've got to give players games somewhere along the line, haven't you? Like, so they may have to go, look, you're not in a Premier League side, but you will play in the.
Brighton got a big squad. That's why.
So maybe that's why they do it.
Yeah, Brighton actually got rid of a load of their players in the summer through loans and even some players because they didn't make Europe and they had like the biggest squad in the Premier League.
They do really well with recruitment. Look at the players that they've moved on in the Ben Whites, the Trossards we've got from them.
Pedro, they've got some. They've done really well.
And Luke McAllister to Liverpool. Look at the players they've sold on. Like their recruitment's something else. It really is.
Yeah. But Brighton in the next round. I'm
happy with that.
Should we be going quite strong because there's opportunity to win the trophy?
Listen, Adam said on his fan cam yesterday, and I have to agree with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to get over the line. If you can win this, it just gets that off your back a little bit to go for other things as well. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's very, very important that Arsenal do well in this as well. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's a good trophy to get early on. I think it takes a huge amount of pressure off Mikel Arteta. End of February, and then the title run in Champions League or FA Cup running.
Without that pressure.
So it's not end of February no more, is it? It's a little later.
March.
Because of the Champions League.
Yeah, so you go and bag that, then the rest of the season running. I just think it takes a huge amount of pressure off of Mikel Arteta because he's under a lot at the minute with the signings. Obviously, the expectation of Arsenal Football Club, the amount of years he's been there, Arsenal fans are demanding. Yeah. But let's remember this Port Vale result as well. 2-0. It's a decent result because in 1998, that was the last time we played Port Vale. And both legs, home and away, the first one, it was 0-0. And then we took it. And this was a team with Adams, Bergkamp, Overmars, Dixon, Winterburn, Seaman. And that team then went on to win the double in 98. Yeah. And, we only...
saying this is an omen then?
Well, I'm just saying that 2-0. And listen, it wasn't like I say, it weren't champagne
what are
football.
You saying is what we're trying to figure out.
What I'm saying is it's a good result to move forward. I know everyone's saying, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the best performance, but getting results and moving forward in these competitions, I think this is a really important competition for Arsenal to go and win. I really do.
I agree. And at the end of it, and I made the try, like I was mucking about a little bit about things yesterday because it was hard to talk about the game, but the thing is when you say about that Port Vale 0-0 and all that, no one talks about that when you win the double.
Of course they don't.
I mean, or they win no one will talk about this game, and no one cares if you go on and win the competition.
Yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? They go like, "Oh, do you remember that, Paul?" We got the job done. So it's always, but I you're getting all this talk about, we've got to win stuff now, got to win a game, you know what I mean, like, and win the trophy. Get that off his back straight away, and that just eases the little pressure going into the, like the really important things, like, what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that really important game coming up this week Sunday after the draw last weekend with Manchester City. We're now 5 points off Liverpool. It's still early in the season, but we're 5 points off. Liverpool play Crystal Palace on Saturday. If they win that, before we play Newcastle, they'd be 8 points above Arsenal, right? Now, Arsenal, last couple of seasons, it hasn't been great at Newcastle. Not been a happy hunting ground. But Newcastle, a little bit of an indifferent style, right? They won last night, 4-1 win over, was Bradford, was it? Yeah, right. Bradford. But in the league, they've only won one game. And that was against Wolves, who were like rock bottom. They've not started the season great. But Anthony Gordon's back after the suspension. How are you guys feeling ahead of that game? That is a big game in a place that is a very tough. We find it tough there for some reason. We had a little spell where we won a couple of games there, but the last few seasons, You know, like we went there twice last year, got no change out of them whatsoever. It was
lost 2-0 in the League Cup and lost 1-0 in the League.
And in both games, right, we didn't lay a glove on them at St James's Park. We were at both of those games.
In that League Cup game at St James's Park, we looked absolutely terrible.
And in the league game as well. I remember they got the goal. I think it was Gordon crossed the East. Remember?
Yeah,
a great header. And then after that, they just locked it
scored
down.
up there in four games.
Yeah, this is big for Arsenal, especially after the criticism of last week and handbrake being on and all that sort of stuff. Need a win, and we need a performance, Marty. Are we going to get it?
Yeah, I think we are. Do you know what?
Why? Why do you think we are?
Because your fortunes are going to change. Listen, like you said, we've got a great team. Can we damage and hurt teams? 100%. I think you're going to see a William Saliba that's a lot fitter, match fitter. Listen,
up front. Do you know what? Because it's about scoring goals, right?
It is about scoring goals.
Front.
And this can be a game where Gyökeres goes and does what we need him to do. Definitely. I think team selection wise, I want to see Eze in that 10, 100%. He's for me earned that position. He's earned his right to start in that position for this game, and I think we're going to see. It's going to be a tight game. It's a tough place to go. It's a massive stadium. It's a rowdy atmosphere. It's on top, and Newcastle and their fans are going to be up for it. It's another big Super Sunday clash. And do we need to get a result? Of course, like you said, Liverpool can start edging away. It's a must-win game.
Must-win, Lee. And that's a tough place to go to. Sort of place, actually, that you go to sometimes. And if you leave it a draw, you're like, yeah, take that. But Marty's saying a must-win.
Yeah, and that's because...
Pressure.
That's because he's put himself under that pressure, and by what he done.
Is he going to approach that as a must-win? Or is it going to be, we're going to see more handbrakes and...
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? Like...
I don't, listen, you don't know what he's going to do. If he does it at home, he's probably going to do it away from home. I don't think, he's put himself in that position. There was an opportunity last week to get the win and then go to Newcastle thinking, well, if you get a draw, it ain't the end of the world. But I think a lot depends on what happens on Saturday with the Liverpool game. I don't think you can afford to go 8 points behind Liverpool at this stage or any stage. You know what I mean? Like 8 points is nearly 3 games, and you've got to rely on other teams. And when at this moment in time, you're still relying on other teams to a certain degree, but they've got some tough places to go to, and they will drop a few points, but so will Arsenal. The way Arsenal play, I'm afraid that he will do. So disappointed about what happened last Sunday. So disappointed, you know what I mean? And
it still hurts you.
Yeah, I look back. I've listened to what Mikel's got to say, you know what I mean, in his press conferences and all that, and I just wish he hadn't said nothing.
What he was
I don't know what we was going up to it yesterday and going, is he the pressure starting to take its toll on him? I don't know. But I look at that game, and I'd love to be able to ask the question in the press. Like, I've watched Man City against Man United and Tottenham live, and I see the highlights of the Brighton game. So I can't go too much on the Brighton game, but the other 2 games. I watched those 2 games, and I didn't turn around and go, we've got to defend against them next week. We've got to beat them. I never see that. I looked at it and thought, whew, they're nowhere near at the level that they were 2 or 3 years ago, and we're a better team now. And my argument is that when they went to us, when we went to them a couple of years ago, Man City, when we was going for the title with them, they never left De Bruyne out. They never left any of their attacking players out. They went for it and smashed us 4-1. And I felt that there was an opportunity for Arsenal to really put it on, to turn around and say to me, or to the fans, we was better than what we did in the 5-1. You know what I mean? Come on. What are you trying to? Don't insult us. You know what I mean? It wasn't great. It wasn't. It wasn't a great performance. And look, he's put a little bit of pressure now going on to the Newcastle game.
I'll tell you where the pressure's going to be. Right? Is his team selection.
Yeah.
That team selection. Right. The start of the 11 show is going to be hyped because that team selection, everybody's going to be watching that. Surely you can't pick Marino back in that midfield with Rice and Zubimendi.
Why?
No, I can't. I can't. After that, after that performance against City,
why?
Yeah.
Well, why? Because at the end of it, look, right.
Why? Because you said it last week. It don't work. When you look at the stat, 11 games only a 1-1.
Does he, Rob? He doesn't see that.
If
he sees it completely different to me. He sees domination. He said it's the best they've ever played. I don't know.
Right.
He turns around and says domination. We it's 1-1. We score in the last minute. If you total domination, like it's a proud thing, we totally dominated Man City, but you didn't beat them.
Listen, if someone's got, they've got all these analysts. I see them a lot of times at games with their iPads and that, right? So one of them comes and sits in front of him.
Someone needs to turn a plug off.
And says to him, yeah, listen, Mikel, here's the stats around when we play this. He's just got to take one look at that and know that you don't do that again.
Yeah, but he has done it time and time again.
Yeah, but he's got to stop, right? He cannot. To me, on Sunday, I want to see either Eze or Ethan Nwaneri in that 10 if Odegaard ain't fit. As a matter of fact, if Odegaard's fit, this is the type of game he's good in because with his pressing and stuff like that, he's very good. But if not, and I'm a bit fearful that he may thinking to put Marino in there because the thing is, right, what do Newcastle's midfield have?
Well, that's my problem.
They're very physical.
Exactly.
They're not an ultra creative midfield, even though Bruno Guimaraes can be quite creative, but they're very physical, good on the ball midfield. Tonali, Joe Linton.
And Joe Linton come back. I thought he was going to be injured for this game.
He came back last night. Joe
night.
Linton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes. Physical midfield, all action, don't give you no time, very on you. You know what I mean? Can't have Marino in there for that. All right, he might look on it and think,
well, I think you can.
Do I want to have Ethan Nwaneri in there, a youngster with those physical players? But to me, he's got to be a bit braver this week. It's either Ethan Nwaneri or Eze plays there, right? Have to, honestly, we can't go there with Mikel Merino. And I'm not singling out Merino because, I just don't think he works in that free in midfield if you've got Rice. And then because we just have no creativity. And we're going to need a bit of creativity to get the ball out wide, get the ball, little through balls in behind. That's how we're going to, And Newcastle as well, they're not at their best at the moment, as I said.
Well, they're struggling to score goals. But I look at it and I fear that he will do that because what we just said, the physicality of their midfield.
You might love that because you were talking it up last week.
That's what he wanted. He wanted
Smarty
that. Smarty Marty
was up for that last week.
He made the change.
Farty Marty afterwards, you know what I mean? Farty Marty afterwards.
What were you saying? Actually, I want to hear from him.
Yeah, he wanted it at home, so why don't he want it away?
Okay, but my problem with the team selection on Sunday, listen, I understood the Marino selection, which he changed at half-time. What I didn't understand was the Mascara, the Saliba for Mascara, because anyone that watched that game and watches William Saliba...
Just go and get the goalposts and move them with your rod,
please. I'm not moving the goal. I've said this numerous times. I've said this numerous times, okay? William Saliba was not 100% match fit.
All right, you just said he's fitter now.
Yeah.
So that debate...
So that debate's
closed. Now, what about the
mid... Not playing Eze for starting Trossard.
Right, so the midfield debate. Right? I want to hear from you, your midfield.
What, for this game on Sunday?
Forget about the left-hand side.
This game on Sunday?
Yeah.
Zubimendi, Rice and Eze.
Right, so why wasn't that then at the game against Manchester City at home?
Players need a chance. And listen, personally, Mikel Merino, of course they need a chance. Mikel Merino, after that performance against City, he had his chance. He had another chance and it didn't work. And now it needs to be changed. Listen, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, isn't it? Players need chances. And Mikel Merino in that first half showed last night he'd done a job for us against Port Vale. He'd done the job we needed to. But has he earned his right to start against Newcastle on Sunday? No, he hasn't. Because after his performance against City and probably a game before that, I believe that Eze has earned his right to start in that position. That's what football's about. You need to earn your right to play in these positions.
Give us your front three.
Front three, Gyökeres up front, Saka on the right, and then start with Martinelli, and then listen, you can always bring Trossard on. if you need to. You can always bring Wanyeri on if you need to. Maybe Max Dowman. There's some options there. You know, we've got midfield options, we've got defensive options.
I mean, listen, if...
Is that fair enough?
Listen,
I think
I'm happy with that, yeah.
Yeah, you're happy, yeah, sure.
If that comes out on Sunday, Marino's in that
No,
free.
I don't think he will be.
I think he will. I think he'll play that free, but I think he'll change it and play Eze out wide. I think that's what he'll do.
Can't play Marino.
Why? Why can you not play Marino when he's played it at home? You're going away from home now. It's more sensible to play it away from home than at home.
It ain't worked. He played it at Liverpool, lost. Played it at home, we drew. Right? We want to win that game. If we're saying, right...
But we won in Bilbao, where, you know, which was away from home.
Bilbao's a different...
But he doesn't see it that.
Bilbao...
No one said about it.
The only reason with the Bilbao one, I was sort of saying, actually, I don't mind it, right? It's because he's Spanish. He would have been used to playing at Bilbao, all that sort of stuff, more than Wanyeri. But for this game... especially after last week, come on,
I'm getting on my hands.
Be a bit braver. Be a bit braver now and say, right, you know, I'm going to put my flair guy in. If that ain't working, then bring Marino and make it solid.
I am getting on my hands and knees after this show, right? I'm praying that Odegaard's fit, right? Because it's either Odegaard or Marino.
And if Odegaard plays, then I want to see Eze on the left then.
Do you really not think that he's not going to put Eze in the 10? On Sunday, do you really not think?
What? Yeah. Because like, when you're at home against Man City, who have got a not as a physical midfield, you know, like their midfield was Rodri, Bernard Silva, and Foden.
No, not Foden.
No, Foden played out the wide. And who was he brought in? Reinders, right? Nowhere near as physical as what you're playing on Sunday. Nowhere near at that physical, like. But you chose to do it against them. So what? All of a sudden, let's take away our physicality.
Even with Marino, is he ultra physical?
He was a little bit last night.
To me, you've got Declan Rice, you've got Zubimendi there, right? To me now, you need another player in there with a bit of flair, right? Oh, you know what? I just had a thought.
Go on.
I just had a thought. Maybe it won't be Marino. Maybe it will be Norgard. Zubimendi, Rice, Norgard. It might be that. Really defensive.
Well, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, my days. Yeah, I just thought of
that. Your face. It's a picture. He's speechless.
All three of us now, we need to pray that Odegaard's fit, like, you know what I mean? Because nothing against Norgard as well, like. I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem with playing Norgard and say Norgard and Rice protecting that, and then playing a Wanyeri or an Eze or in there, like, you know. I ain't got a problem if he plays Marino and Rice, Marino or Zubimendi. If you can't leave Rice out, I don't know what he's going to do. If I'm being really honest,
I can see.
I don't. I'll tell you.
Norgard Rice.
Right. Well, I'll tell you that now. That you've got more chance of seeing that than Eze or Wanyeri. Eze and Wanyeri will not play in the number 10 on Sunday. Right. You might get Eze out wide, but you will not get the one player that will play is Odegaard if he's fit. If not, it'll be one of those two that you've said.
It's got to be braver, Lee. It's got to be brave. I've got to go for this one.
I think you will.
Go up there with a bit of intent. Say, right, you know what? We're not coming up here we're coming to Newcastle. You ain't really been scoring goals. We're going to outscore you. We're going to come here. We're going to be on the front foot, right? Not stupid front foot, because they're a very good side. You know what I mean? Gordon's back, getting behind. You know, they've got a Voltamate scored on his debut. Good player, big guy, right?
He won't play.
I think he'll play.
No,
he didn't play. He didn't play. He didn't play long.
I'll be surprised because I think physicality wise, Saliba and
no, but I think he'll play. I think he'll play.
Gordon will be the one that, you know, he's caused us problems. Gordon's
caused a lot of problems. But for me, I don't. The same way we sit and worry about their players, yeah, Gordon's and people like that, right? They will be sitting and worrying about our players, so we've got to play them. They will not want Eze to start that game.
Of course they won't.
Right? Eze must start from the beginning, right? Must.
Where? Where are you
I want
putting
to listen. I'd like to see him in the middle. I love the little combinations between him and Saka when they came on. You could see the defenders were looking and thinking, "There's a problem here, man. Who do we double up on? Because we kind of need to double up on both of them. They're both dangerous, right?" I love that little combination of the two of them there. I want to see more of that. Play Eze. Listen, he might not. I kind of think you're going to play Eze out on the left. But Eze's got to play wherever he plays. But I'd like to see Eze in the 10 with Saka there, because I think he'll feed Saka, supply Saka, and he's got the ability to, if he can't see Saka, go through, he can take long-range shots.
Do you think Martinelli done himself no favours yesterday?
He didn't do himself any favours, but I think I'd start him because, again, the pace that he could possess him behind, and I agree with Marty. You can get Trossard off the bench later on. We know that Trossard off the bench is one of the best in the league off the bench, right? So we got the firepower, but he's got to be. I mean, if you go up to Newcastle, I feel, and you go with that type of team, you're just playing at they're very good. That's their game.
I think
that's their game, isn't it? Like a solid midfield with a solid this and a that's Newcastle. We've got to offer something different.
I think when you get up those flights of stairs on Sunday, you're going to be deflated.
Or sitting in the gods.
Actually, I might chatting to Matty Renton. Renton might be able to hook me up. So I maybe for the first time ever go to watch that game. I might be able to watch it at ground level. Or actually, no. He said to me, he goes, "It's not even ground level." He goes,
"I'm disappointed that Kieran Trippier ain't got in contact and said, do you want to, be looked after our
what did you do? You just had a little chat with him.
Well, he knows. Kieran knows. You know what I mean? Like, if you're watching Kieran, you know. You know what I mean? Like, come on, hook me up.
But listen, I want Arsenal to go out there, man, and I want us to go out there with an attitude to win the game. Like, not just tactically, we're just going to be solid. As I said, that's what they do. They're very good at it.
Do you know what? I'm going to say this now, right? And this is bad of me, right? That I hate Newcastle, right?
Do you actually hate them with
I really like the last few games, few times we've played them, they've kicked us, been a bit nasty to us and all that. But after meeting a few of them and that in the hotel and all that, I kind of like them now, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a funny situation, like, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, I definitely want them to do well in the next round of the League Cup all of a sudden. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I've quite had a little, want them to do well again, Newcastle, because they was getting a little bit.
Not on Sunday.
No, obviously not on Sunday, but they was getting a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, even the Newcastle fans were saying, like, we've won a trophy, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't won one for 70 years and they're giving a stick about it, like, you know. So, I've sort of like gone back to liking Newcastle again.
Well, I will only like them if we beat them on Sunday.
It won't be easy.
It won't be easy. Marty, what's your prediction?
2-1. 2-1 Arsenal.
That means the way he said that and all the thing is not.
Go on.
You're not feeling it, are you?
I'm feeling it.
You're not convinced.
I'm definitely
that
feeling it.
wasn't a very convincing.
No, do you know what? I was going to go 2-0. If I'm honest with you, I was going to go 2-0. I know. Listen, I believe in this Arsenal side. I genuinely believe we can go and do a job. We're not going to keep going there and losing for years. We've got a very good Arsenal side. You know, it's like you guys say, it's the team selection. It's a team selection. Eze has to play in that 10. You know, Rice, Zubimendi, that midfield, I think reads itself. The front three, I can see them. I can see us going there and getting a result. I really can.
It's the judge.
No, I fear it.
What's your prediction?
I fear it, like, because the atmosphere at the Liverpool game. If it weren't for that sending off, they would have beaten Liverpool that day. And I think we're the best we can hope for is a 1-1.
Right. I actually think we're going to win this game.
Go on.
I'm going 1-0. I don't think it's going to be like I think it'll be a tight game. But I think Arsenal. I remember when we played Liverpool that first half. Despite everyone saying I thought we controlled the game. I think we get a lot of control in the game again, and I just think Newcastle have not been as good as they are last season. They are missing Isak. Yeah. Right? I don't think they've been as good. I think it's going to be a game where there will be loads of chances in that game. That's how it is when it's Newcastle. But I fancy Victor Gyökeres. on Sunday.
I fancy Eze
I fancy him. I think as well, I think Gyökeres will like this physical sort of battle. I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. 1-0. I'd love to hear from you guys what your predictions are out there. Let us know. But of course, we'll have it covered here on AFTV. We've got a big watch along to the game, which Marty will be hosting.
I'm not actually.
Are you not?
No, I'm not. I'm away.
Where are you going?
I'm going away on holiday.
Holiday?
Holiday? Well, just hold the fault here.
What's going on? Do you know, I've just rocked up at your holiday. Where are you going now?
Just going for a few days away in Spain. You know about this. You've all been told about this.
During the season?
What do you mean during the season? It's been booked for ages. I won't be here next Thursday either, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. Sorry, it had to be done.
So you're not even here for the Champions League game?
I'm not, no. I missed that as well.
Oh.
I know. Disappointing. I'll be back though.
Oh,
West Ham.
Oh, fantastic. Oh.
You sure about that?
Yeah. We're pleased about that.
You'll be back.
You might be. Yeah, I think like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's me out the door.
All right, so Marty ain't hosting it, but listen, we are going to have to watch along on Sunday. Make sure you check it out, right? It's a massive game, absolutely massive. Arsenal going up to St James Park to take on Newcastle. A win changes everything, changes the mood. I think when I looked at our start, I always looked at it and I always thought the hardest part of it ended with this game. It's like, you know, we've got City in that, we've got United in that, we've got Liverpool in that start. Then it ends with that Newcastle. And then after that, it's more favourable, right? So if Arsenal could come out of that with a win, I would have thought it's an excellent start to the season. You take out, you know, obviously Liverpool was a loss, and taking Liverpool to one side because they've just had the sublime start. But that will represent, if Arsenal can win that game against Newcastle, it represents an excellent start to the season. Yeah, in my opinion,
I agree because I actually had us to lose to Liverpool, beat City, draw with Newcastle in that points.
Yeah, and even United though. When I was looking at that, I was thinking,
I thought
that wouldn't have surprised me if you draw at Old Trafford because we found it tough there. We got 1-0 there. We're going to get 1-0 at Newcastle. That's what I feel. But let's hope that comes true. Lee, thank you very much.
No problems.
Marty, don't forget your towel on the way out. You know,
have a nice
sun cream and all that. Yeah.
Well done. Have a nice holiday. Like, there's an international break a week later. But anyway, like that's another thing.
It wasn't me that booked it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Don't forget sun cream. You know what I mean, right? Anyway, so we're off.
He's only gone and blamed his missus. Can you believe that? If she'd have done that without his permission, like, I've just booked an holiday, like, you know what I mean? You've got to miss a couple of games, dear. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Look, he's not saying nothing.
He's not saying nothing.
Thanks, so we see you next week. And also big up to Kenya Airways. Don't forget that 25% off by using the code AFTV25. Full details in the description right now. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.